Dear business owners in the room, I finally got you. I know. For 19 days, you've been probably saying, but I already have a website, but I already have a business, but I already have something. I need you to teach me, I need you to show me how to bring it into Lovable. That's what day 20 is all going to be about. Now that I got you hooked, now that I got you all in, hopefully, on this Lovable thing, my main goal of today will be to show you how you can clone and replicate what you already have elsewhere and bring it into Lovable, and then establish your brand guidelines for one project to then be able to, number one, remix that project, to reuse them, or tag components, elements, and whatnot in another new project, no matter what you're building, to be able to replicate those, right? So I'd say, for those of you who already wanted to do something with an existing brand, this is a 5-step process. And if you want to follow this 5-step process, you can just stop reading the transcript, go to the resources, and we have this business cloner resource, which is going to work very simply. It's a set of prompts that I send in sequences that I've battle tested many times and found this workflow to kind of work the best, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to copy this prompt, right? Or better say, let's take a website that we want to clone, right? Let's find a well-known brand to maybe play around with here. Let's take Microsoft for an example. So as you can see here, if you put your website in, it's going to fill in the blank on this prompt. So I'm going to copy the prompt, very simple, right? And then we're going to explain it in a jiffy over here, right? So if I go back and then just paste this prompt right in, as you can see, the first instruction that I'm giving is to Lovable is to replicate a website pixel by pixel. A great feature that Lovable has is this screenshot tool. And what I'm asking it to do is to use it relentlessly until it's able to create the reference image and not stop until it gets a perfect replica, right? I'm suggesting that it should download images and assets from this website and try to use the same fonts and logos if possible, and introduce cool motion effects and by installing relevant dependencies and libraries, starting with Framer Motion and React Motion, so that all of the components are basically responding to this. All you need is really this prompt. Again, I've tried a couple of versions of it. This one works the best. I'm just going to send it away, and this process may take a while. But the reason why is because Lovable will constantly shift between coding, researching, browsing, taking screenshots, coding. The idea is to try and get us as close as possible to basically this, right? If you go back, this is the Microsoft's current landing page. This is what I gave Lovable as a reference, right? It won't maybe have the exact same images. I don't care. Like, what I care is a close approximation of how these cards look, of how everything else looks, right? So this prompt that I've just sent can also be enhanced even further if you want to, by adding screenshots. But again, Lovable is taking them as well. So there's no need for me to do that anymore. If I expand to see the agent stream, you can see that it's downloading different files and different screenshots just to try and fetch as much page content as possible so that it is able to perform this process, right? So that's the first step, really. It's just taking screenshots and trying to get as close as possible to the source. I'll put a pause here, wait for it to finish, and then show you how to continue. All right, super cool. Lovable is done. And I don't think we're that far out, if we're honest with each other. Yes, put this ribbon at the very top versus here. Who cares? Like, I can move it. That's easy. The hard part is it actually figured out that this is a 2-image carousel that uses this exact Framer Motion effect. It added in all the cards. It tried to fetch some of the images. It probably couldn't pull all of them up. That's fine. It's loading the same way Microsoft does, right? Like, if there are certain elements to it that are missing, now comes the next step, which is refinement, right? Which is, if I wanted cards to look exactly like this, all I gotta do is just take a screenshot and then go to the visual editor and then select the cards and just ask Lovable to replicate this exactly pixel perfect, the same like as on the image. Okay, these cards are not using the same border effects, shadow effects, corner rounding, padding, or margins as the ones originally at Microsoft. Please take a look at the reference image and try to create a pixel perfect replica to the best of your ability. Right? So all I said was, again, just named elements that are not aligned, right? And now I'm just asking Lovable to fix it. And all I have to continue doing now is iterate. Like, this is the next card. Okay, it doesn't look the same. Cool. Just take a screenshot, right? go, take a screenshot, right? Go back here again. Even though I'll be honest, I like this even better than what Microsoft has on their end. So I might as well just keep mine. If I'm honest, I like it way more. But let's take this one again for the business side, right? I'll just take a screenshot again and say to Lovable to fix this, right? I'm again selecting the entire component, pasting this and saying, same issue like with the previous code edit. The cards are in a mismatch compared to what is on the original Microsoft website. Please take a look at my reference image and make sure that the entire section background color also matches the Microsoft website, which is, and here is where I stop, and this is where being specific matters, right? I have a tooltip that's going to allow me to figure out the exact color of this background, right? So the closer you can get to having a hex code for the color, the higher the likelihood of you actually being able to replicate it, obviously. And then same thing goes here. Like I can tell that I think the background for the Copilot and the cards were the same. Again, I can just say, apply the same styling, the same logic, and the same background to this AI and Copilot section as you just did for the section above. It is the section that is talking about business use cases, right? Again, specific. I'm trying to refine, right? This is something that is not included in the guide itself. It's in the cloning stuff is really, something that, requires iteration. And the more you invest in this process of trying to go in as close as possible, I mean, just take a look at this, right? Now we're talking pixel perfect, right? These look exactly the same as they do on Microsoft's website now. Yeah, sure, maybe there's a little bit more spacing, but I honestly don't care much about it. Like, that's easy. I can just tell Lovable, hey, introduce bigger space between the paragraph text and between the button, whatever, right? What I'm trying to showcase is that just by doing this whole process of screenshotting and contextual prompting, you can get something to be pixel perfect. So we're going to just let these prompts run, and when they're done, that's when we're going to proceed with the next step, which is a super critical one. All right, and after doing two more iterations, I really think I'm very close to what Microsoft has on their end. Like, sure, maybe the icons are not there. Who cares? I can get them in. What I'm trying to demonstrate here to you is that this process is fairly easy. As you can see, you just take screenshots and that's pretty much it. But the goal is not the website clone. That's just the means to the goal. Let's say I wanted to build something on brand, and let's do this as a showcase of a very simple yet very powerful use case that a lot of people are hopefully seeing online, which is building presentation slides for your company that look 100% on brand. For that purpose, we won't be going and asking Lovable just to build it, because we want to build the deck as just one bigger or smaller piece of a bigger puzzle. And in that process, what we want instead is build a design system, right? That is completely optimized for this particular use case, but it can be a use case for anything else really, right? So in this case, I just copy pasted it. I recommend slides because it's super easy, and everything that you build for slides is going to be very similar to what you plan on building for something else potentially, right? Because here's the deal. We have to take all the colors, all the font families and typography, spacing, all the components, and then specifically slide components like navigation, number counters, progress bars, transition styles, everything that you may need for another landing page or for any other kind of an element, right? What I'm building here is a system file. Again, I'm not trying to build just one thing on brand. I'm trying to make everything else in the future look on brand as well. So step two, we're creating our reusable design tokens, right? Let's wait for Lovable to finish this process, and then I'll come back to you where in step three, we're going to go a step deeper and build components in as well. We took one step, and Lovable built 80 custom properties that are now all residing and living under the new page called Design Guidelines, right? So just a couple of steps, and all of a sudden, we almost built a design system. I wouldn't call this a design system personally. It's probably closer to the term of brand guidelines and tokens, but nevertheless, I mean, pulled out the font, spacing, border radius, buttons, cards, shadows, sliders, progress bars, footer for slides, how the presentation deck would look like. Just beautiful. Again, as a non-designer, somebody who never did this before, I'm always impressed by it. Now, I just want to go even further, right? Which is, I want to build more components. I want to build a hero section, feature grid, feature card, CTA section for I'm trying to make this a reusable system, because guess what? Lovable has a couple of amazing new features, but one of the most amazing ones is the cross-project referencing. I said it in a post recently. You will count time before and after this feature. And the reason why is you can invest 10, 15, 20, 30, 100 tokens, credits into building one central source of truth for your project. And then from there, just tag that project in perpetuity and pull in components from it, right? That is the key reason why we are doing step number 3. We want to establish this project as a baseline. So if you want to prototype something later down the road, maybe you want to build a mobile app, or maybe you want to build a new derivative of your company, a new department, new vertical, you want to activate a new market. Instead of redoing all of this again and again and again and again, you are actually just tagging things that you need. You maybe want a hero section from here, you maybe want a card from there, you maybe want to do something from elsewhere. The key is that cross-project referencing is what makes that a possibility. Let's let Lovable finish this step, and then I'll come back to lock in this system and work on that first product to make it look 100% on brand. And a couple of minutes later, 19 files deep, we built all of these components, right? So again, to me, it's just crazy. The amount of work that can be done in a single prompt by Lovable to define these things is just mind-boggling, right? It gives me so many different things that I can reuse. I can just say, I want this DS hero section in another project, bam, just gonna be pulled in, right? But what this system allows you is really tag files and reference components. And then if you build a cheat sheet for yourself, you could then do this as many times over as you want. Let's lock it in. Let's just really make sure that everything in the configuration of this project is now up to date according to the sources of truth. Because sometimes what happens is you continue to build all of these components, design guidelines, but they live as separate pages. So unless you prompt Lovable over and over and over again to reuse them, it deviates, which is kind of normal and expected, I guess, but I don't want that to be the case. I really, really want to hit the nail on the head. So what I do with this prompt here is ask Lovable to reconfigure and tighten everything it has in the code base across all the files and all the pages and everything that it has inside of the components folder over here. When we go to the layout, when we go to the sections, to all of these UI elements, look how many of them there are. We need to tighten things up and make sure that we want to enforce this design system that we built as a single source of truth across the project, right? So let's do that, and then, and only then, we can start producing things. And again, today we're gonna be producing slides. All right, now we got everything locked in. We got the design guidelines, we got the components, we updated the system as well to reflect it. And now and only now you're ready to build. I know it may seem like a lot of steps, but honestly, it's totally worth it. So now we're gonna go with Microsoft, right? So we're building slides. So Microsoft, right? And then it's gonna be Q4 product roadmap, leadership team, right? For our leadership team, and that basically fills in these gaps. You can use this for your own product, for your own website, right? And hopefully you'll be able to showcase it to me too. So what I'm just doing now is just building a slide deck based off of this. I could build anything, really. I could build a mobile app, I can build a game. Who cares? At this point, the only thing that matters is really us reusing the design tokens from the design system and using the components that were created previously, right? So you reference the design system, you reference the components, and that's how you get visual parity completely to your brand. As I mentioned just a second ago, right? I want you to consider sending in your builds to the showcase, right? Not just this one, but any other one. We're approaching the final stretch. You can see that there's about 12 submissions so far. I haven't pushed this that much in the past, but I just want to push it as we're getting close to the end. This will be the place where we're all going to submit our projects, and I'll find a good way to allow people to review them, play around with them, give you guys some exposure, maybe even give away some credits soon. But what I want you to do is get into this habit of, as you continue to build alongside me, post your builds in the showcase, please. Let's go back here. Let's see how this is progressing. As you can see, we're adding slides one by one. I'll be back as soon as Lovable is done with you, and then let's see how it performs. All right, this is it. Let's do the final review together. We completed the product roadmap presentation, 10 slides, reusable components, reusable system in place, right? It's the simplest of projects to build. I could have went way more complex, and you should definitely challenge yourself. The cool part, again, is we are reusing all the elements that were previously defined by the system, right? And we're using them in a way that allows us to build something super cool. You can see super interactive, reusing your design guidelines and components. That is the key element here, and the key element of today's session all along. How can I build stuff over and over and over again and make them look on brand? Some of you may say, well, you could have just prompted Lovable to build these slides by giving it a Microsoft link, and it would read those same tokens and build it. And you would be right to say so. The problem is, what if I wanted to go beyond slides? What if I wanted to go and build something bigger? And that's where the bottleneck comes, and that's the bottleneck we're solving for. Slides are just an example. What I want you to do is challenge yourself and think about how can you apply this knowledge now to build something cool for tomorrow. Tomorrow is our new showcase day. I will be building the personal system app. I don't know what you will be building. All I know is that I'm going to use everything we just talked about for this entire week and try to tackle it, make it look mobile friendly, focus on the design, focus on everything that we were talking about. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's keep shipping.